Recently, I embarked on a Pokemon Emerald playthrough using only Pokemon with a 1% encounter rate, the rarest Pokemon in the game, so I thought why not flip the script and tackle Pokemon Alpha Sapphire with the most common Pokemon using only Pokemon with a 100% encounter rate. Yeah, I've been diving pretty deep in the 3DS Pokemon games lately, and this is just another excuse to keep playing them. The only real rule is we can only use Pokemon that appear with a 100% encounter rate, and some really surprised me. Our journey begins in the Rust Turf Tunnel, where our first encounter is Whismur. It's a notorious 100% encounter Pokemon, probably the first one you think of when you think of 100 encounter rate Pokemon, and if you're curious about its name being Chuchimer, did I even say that right? That's because I'm playing the game in French. Why French? Well, when in Rome, do as the Romans and speak French. I don't know why I wrote that in the script. Whismur remains our only companion until after Roxanne's Rock-type gym. Surprisingly, there's quite a few 100% encounter rate Pokemon in Alpha Sapphire, offering some variety for our team, but for now, it's just a bunch of Whismurs grinding away with very little variety. I'm getting really tired of grinding in this tunnel. I spent about an hour grinding Whismur before boredom set in. I thought of ways to beat Roxanne with only a Whismur and realized I needed to boost my attack stat with Howl and then use Pound to defeat Roxanne. In my first attempt, I misclicked and used Echoing Voice, which did decent damage. I decided to try to set up anyway with Howl despite this, but that didn't go quite as planned as Whismur fell. I reset and used Echoing Voice, or just Echo, in French a few times, increasing its power with each time we use it. Despite Roxanne's rock types resisting my... what is Whismur, by the way? A rabbit? Or one of those, like, rabid bunnies from that weird Rayman Ubisoft game? Is Rayman even still around? Whatever happened to him? Not sure what that is or what happened to Rayman, but we hammered away, well, echoed away for our very first gym badge in a fashion that I didn't really expect. Like, how did Echoing Voice knock out these rocks? Now here's the part of the video where I'd like to explain my second encounter for the run, but we have a bit of stuff to do first, so I'll take a quick little break. I play a ton of games on my phone while taking a break or eating lunch, but I'm a bit Pokemon'd out now, so how about Marvel Strike Force? This game starts you out with Spider-Man, one of my personal favorite Marvel heroes alongside Deadpool, and it's a free mobile squad RPG where you can assemble your own team to battle. You can check out the game with my link in the description or scan the QR code on screen and even get some free new characters this month to celebrate Marvel Studios Thunderbolts, and use code Bucky in-game to unlock the Red Guardian, Yelena Belova, Ghost Winter Soldier, and Taskmaster. That's like a full squad you can redeem for free from the very start of the game. It'll make it a bit easier to get started, although even without them, I was able to get other heroes early on, like Luke Cage, who has this taunt ability to help protect my other characters like Spider-Man. Okay, let's hit this mercenary with Spider-Man. Let's go for a kick. There we go. Luke Cage just gonna tank the hits for me too. Thank you so much to Marvel Strike Force for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check them out, link in the description, as we make our way towards Dewford Town. Here we can get a rather crucial encounter after obtaining the Old Rod from this fisherman. Near Mr. Brownie's house, using the Old Rod gives us a 100% chance to encounter Magikarp. Not too surprising, right? But there are Pokemon that I didn't expect to be 100% encounters, and if you think that's cool and crazy, make sure to smash that like button so you miss out on it. I'm not doing the whole bit, I wrote it out, but on a serious note, leaving a like does help the channel. If you want to support the channel, that's great. I know it's annoying saying in videos sometimes, but saying it does actually get a lot more likes, so leave a like if you enjoyed. Let's take our new Magikarp, or Magikarp as it is in French, and figure out how a terrified rabbit and a useless flopping fish are going to beat Brawly's fighting-type Pokemon. I decided to try to grind Magikarp till it evolves into Gyarados level 20 for Brawly. However, Magikarp, famously, only knows Splash until level 15, where it learns Tackle, and then at 20, it evolves into Gyarados, so it's pretty useless until then, and on top of that, I can't use it in battle, so I have to either switch train it or rely on the EXP share, which isn't that fast in this game. I remember being so much faster, but I feel like throughout this game, I wasn't gaining EXP as quickly as I remembered. So to keep the run as pure as I possibly can, I avoided using non-100% encounter Pokemon like Surskit, for example, which would give us access to Sweet Scent. Sweet Scent is useful because if you use it, it summons Hordes and you get more EXP from battling Hordes, and we will need Horde Pokemon later, but for now, we only have these two Pokemon. So instead, I continued grinding in the Verdant Turf Tunnel, or the Rust Turf Tunnel. Whatever this tunnel is called, I always say the wrong name. Whismur later evolved into Loungard, resembling the Crazy Frog meme, and I remember that the Granite Cave exists and is just better for grinding at this point of the game, so I headed over there. Now in this game, you can't give Steven the letter or the Devon Pack as it is in French until after you defeat Brawly, so we can't go to Slateport City until then, meaning we also can't smoke that Devon Pack until after we smoke that Brawly Pack. I think that means after we beat Brawly, but I'm not entirely sure. In the Granite Cave, though, we grind up against Nosferaptus, which is Zubat in French and just sounds awesome. And then I tried fighting the gym trainers before Brawly and learned that the move Meditate in French is just Yoga, and the move Foresight is Clairvoyance. I kind of like those names better for moves. Maybe French isn't so bad after all. I remember when I was in high school, I wanted to take French classes, but my mom didn't let me because she thought it would be too hard, and that would be way better for this video if I could actually speak French. Granted, if I could actually read English, all my videos would be better. Anyway, look at that. I figured while I'm here fighting the junior trainers in the gym, I may as well try to fight Brawly, as that worked for Roxanne, and wow, look at that. Echo saves the day again. I really hope this doesn't just turn into a Loungrid solo run, but so far it is. That's 2 gyms in a row where I go in on a whim and get bailed out by Echoing Voice and just get a gym badge. Now at this point in my notes, I wrote Splatoon music in my notes in all caps. I think it's because 1, the new Splatoon trailer had come out when I just started writing that, and 2, I want to put Splatoon music in this video, so if you're hearing Splatoon music, that's why. I should probably also mention that I named my character Mer, or Mare, not really sure how to say it. I usually name myself C as a shortened version of my username, but C in French is Mer, and I thought it would be pretty funny. Now with 2 badges, we can set sail to Slateport City, and I tried heading north from here, but this French woman just rudely stopped me and talked to me about contests or whatever. I mean, I couldn't really tell because it was in French. After she's done talking, we can go north to Route 110 and have another 100% encounter Pokemon here. Wailmer. In fact, Wailmer is a 100% encounter Pokemon in so many different parts of this game, but we need a better rod, so we'll come back for you later, Wailmer. You're on the thumbnail for a reason. Once in Mauville City, I realized that Wally's name in French is Timmy. I don't know why they felt the need to change it. A lot of the names were actually changed from the English counterparts, despite them still being easily pronounceable in French, so is Wally that hard to say in French? Is his name actually Timmy and they changed it for English? I don't know. North of Mauville, though, there's another 100% encounter Pokemon that will be great for this next gym in Geodude. The issue is it's only encounterable via Rock Smash, which we can't use outside of battle until after beating Mauville's Electric-type gym. Why does that always happen, by the way? Every time I do one of these challenges and I find a Pokemon that would be great for the current situation I'm in, I can't actually get that Pokemon until after I'm done with the current situation. Luckily in the Mauville City Pokemart, we can get the TM for Bulldoze to use against Watson, which is way better than whatever Pooing Boost is supposed to be. Yeah, most of this video is just me making fun of French Pokemon names for moves and stuff. Lounger then learns a new move, my favorite move actually, in Brouhaha. Yeah, Brouhaha, and they say French is the language of love. What does that mean? Omelette du fromage. That's the only French I know. Actually, since finishing this video, I did learn one French word, and it's vol, which means either fly or flying. That's all I remember. Oh, and scent is parfum, which I think I probably knew before then because there's a lot of English words that are just from French words. But back on track, Bulldoze was enough for Watson's gym, giving us the 3rd gym badge, and unlike in the last video, we don't need to go to that annoying C Malvo with the generator, so I'm pretty glad about that, because nobody likes you, Magneton. I'm still mad at you. While traveling up north, I encounter an interesting NPC whose name looks like it translates to Mommy, Lover of Picnics. I'm sure your mother loves being taken out to a picnic, but I just have no time for that. I have Pokemon to catch. That's another reason why I love playing these games in other languages. We see things that are totally normal in other languages, but my stupid American brain finds it funny because I only speak English. Now, while looking for other 100% encounter Pokemon to find around here, I noticed one called Sablette, which is the French name. Take a guess in the comments down below of what Pokemon you think Sablette is, and I guarantee you won't get it right, and if you do, you're either cheating or you just speak French. With access to Rock Smash, we're able to catch a Geodude, then Magikarp finally evolves into Leviator. Interesting name. We make it to Follower Town, and the most important thing we have to do here is get the Honey item. An item that most people would never need to use in this game, but if we want to be as strict to the rules as possible and not use any other Pokemon, even for utility or HMs, then this one honey is absolutely crucial for this run and unlocks so many Pokemon. You can get 1 per day from this NPC in the Pokemon Center in Follower Town, but 1 is all we need. We can then skip ahead to Laveridge Town where Geodude tries to learn the move Destruction. Not self-destruct, just Destruction. Gyarados then learned Dragon Rage here, and despite not having any Water-type moves for Flannery's Fire-type Pokemon, we're still at a point where Dragon Rage is pretty overpowered for a 4th gym badge, doing a flat 40 HP worth of damage to anything, which basically 2 shots everything, if not 3 shots at the worst. Oh, and now you decide to evolve Geodude? I could have used you like 5 minutes ago against the gym. Some things I noticed about Geodude and Graveler were that Smackdown was just called Anti-Air, rock moves were called Soul, which confused me because in a lot of languages, Soul is the sun, and I don't know what it was about Graveler, but I had the hardest time figuring out what its moveset was. Now I am playing on official hardware, so I can trade Graveler over later to evolve it into Golem. I don't know why so many people just ignore trait evolutions in these type of videos, by the way. I know emulating can be easier and look a little bit better for the video, but I have the game, so why not just play on the real game so I can do stuff like trade and keep my Pokemon when I'm done with the video and store them in my copy of Pokemon X or whatever. So what if it means I have to play in French? I mean, I didn't have to play in French. I could have easily picked English at the start of the game, since if you didn't know, for the 3DS Pokemon games, you can pick just about any language at the start of the game, and I just picked French. I am recording this before going to New Orleans, though, for NAIC, and New Orleans is French, so I guess that ties in, sort of. I'll probably vlog it on the second channel, link in the description. We can finally go back to Norman for the 5th gym, and still, no new encounters, by the way, but trust me, don't leave the video yet, the encounters really pile up after we get Surf and access to the other half of the Hoenn region. It's just a shame that right now we have to use 2 of the most common Pokemon ever, plus this knockoff version of Crazy Frog, which has really carried us so far. Gyarados now is Intimidate for Norman, and Loungerd's echoed voice really piles up to defeat Norman's normal-type Pokemon, although his Slaking, or Slacking, or Slaking was pretty annoying. Not to mention, Graveler also just resists normal-type moves and can go for Destruction, so we can finally get our 5th gym badge and more importantly, Surf, as well as the Super Rod. With the Super Rod, that means we can finally get Wailmer. Wait a second, that's not Wailmer. Oh, this is the Good Rod, and I need the Super Rod? Okay, fine, Wailmer, I'll reclaim you later. You're on like every route in this game, and perhaps if I was playing a language I can understand, I would have been able to read which rod I needed, but no, I got them mixed up. On our way to Fortree City, Steven, or Pierre as he's known in the French Pokemon world, stops us to help Latias. Now, I probably should have explained this at the start, but I have a habit of talking too much at the start of my videos, which lowers retention, so I just did it, and I'll explain it now. But we aren't counting any gift Pokemon or static Pokemon, or Pokemon that are just straight up given to you. Only Pokemon that are found in the wild with a 100% encounter rate are counted, which is why Latias doesn't count, nor do starter Pokemon or any other gift Pokemon. I just released the Latias, and unless I'm missing something, I can't use the Eon Flute to fly, like I thought you were supposed to be able to do after meeting Latias here, but whatever. It was worth it anyway because I don't want this Latias. Although, being able to fly would have been very convenient. We can continue through the Weather Institute, or Winstitute, and onto Route 119, which has 2 100% encounters. Pretty cool, right? Like, how does the same route have 2 100% encounters? The first one is Oddish. You can only find Oddish in hordes with the move Sweet Scent, which Oddish also learns, but if you use a Honey outside of battle, it's basically the same as Sweet Scent and just summons a horde, allowing us to catch an Oddish. There are a few other Pokemon that are 100% encounters in hordes, and this Oddish we caught learns Sweet Scent so we can get them all later on. Sweet Scent in French is also Do Perfume or Da Parfum, I don't speak French, which sounds way cooler than Sweet Scent. The other Pokemon that is a 100% encounter rate on Route 119 is one that many would consider to be elusive or rare and quite a pain to get in other Pokemon games. In fact, it's a Pokemon that's so rare that a lot of people commented that I should have used it when I played through Emerald with the rarest Pokemon only using 1% encounters, but in Omega Red and Alpha Sapphire, if you sit right under this bridge on Route 119 and use any rod during the day, you have a 100% chance to encounter a Feebas. They made it way easier than what it was in Ruby and Sapphire and even Diamond and Pearl, and it'll be a welcome addition to the team, and we can even evolve it to Milotic later on. You could make a strong argument that Feebas is technically one of the rarest Pokemon in Emerald version as well, but it really depends on how you look at it. Is it rarer in terms of encounter rate, rarer in terms of where you actually find the Pokemon? I'm not really sure, but either way, it's pretty funny that we can use Feebas in the most common video. This finally takes us to Fortree City, and there's a lot we can do here, but for now, let's take a quick detour and track down a Heart Scale. I need a Heart Scale so we can give it to the move Reminder to relearn Sweet Scent on Oddish and go for Horde encounters. I finally tracked one down, make my way to the move relearner's house, and realize I already had like 3 Heart Scales in my bag, don't know where they came from, so that was just a huge waste of time tracking one down for like 10 minutes. I mean, playing this game in this fashion, in this way, is basically a waste of time, but now we can use Sweet Scent on Route 115 to get the 100% Horde encounter, Swablu, for our flying type user after we beat Winona's gym. I was about to write how Swablu is going to be the first Mega we can use once it evolves to Altaria, totally forgetting that Gyarados can Mega Evolve, but Altaria is cooler anyway. It's like Dragon and Fairy type. Like, how cool is that? It's like the two opposite types in one. Is there a Ghost normal type? There probably is, and I'm just forgetting it, but like I feel like having a type that is immune to its other type is just really cool. We can also use Sweet Scent to get Sableye. Did you ever guess what it was yet, by the way? We find it in the desert, and it's a Sandshrew. I don't end up using it at all, and I don't speak French, but why is this name so similar to Sableye? We can at least get a Pokemon that's pretty similar to Sableye. That's one of my favorite Pokemon pretty soon even with Sweet Scent. For now though, instead of getting a ton of encounters at once, I just want to fight Winona's flying type gym. Gyarados learned a new move called Crocs Giveres. Am I saying that right? Probably not, but it translates to Ice Fang, a perfect move for flying type Pokemon. I would have loved to have an honor battle with my Altaria against Winona's Altaria, but even with the EXP share, Swablu was gaining EXP at such a slow rate and was nowhere near ready to fight a gym leader yet. Lounger did evolve into Exploud after the gym though, really carrying this run, and by the way, I don't think I've ever used an Exploud in a Pokemon playthrough until just now. After making to Lily Cove City, I decided to focus on evolving our Feebas into Milotic because Milotic is just really cool. First, we need to collect some more berries to turn into Pokeblocks to then increase Feebas's beauty stat so we can evolve it. I know we could technically trade it to evolve it, but I don't want to get the Prism Scale and I want to do it the original way, which is way more tedious and took way longer. While collecting some berries, I stopped by the Safari Zone to use Surf and get our Psycho Quack encounter, great name by the way, but we have enough water types, so into the box with you. And Seeking is also a 100% encounter in the Safari Zone with a Super Rod. Interesting how it's a 100% encounter rate in Alpha Sapphire and yet a 1% encounter in Emerald, and we can use it in both of these videos. At this point, I also made the critical realization that the Premier Ball in French is called the Honor Ball, so I buy dozens of Pokeballs just to get a few Honor Balls, and then use Sweet Scent on Mount Pyre to get Shuppet in an Honor Ball, which we can then use to Honor Battle later against Phoebe in the Elite Four against her Banets. Exploud then tries to learn the new move, Blabla Dodo. Like seriously, French speakers, what are you doing? What does this even mean? Language of love? Who loves this? Then after like an hour, Feebas finally evolves to Milotic to be another usable Pokemon on our team behind Exploud, Gyarados, and Graveler. I replaced Gloom for Shuppet too since we got nearly all the Horde encounters, at least the ones that I really care about. Then I just say screw it, I want a Golem, so I trade over Graveler to my copy of Pokemon X so it can evolve into Golem. Now we have some more Team Aqua lore stuff that I don't really care about since I'm doing my own challenges, my own story, or at least I'm trying. I don't know, these playthrough videos are really hit or miss. Once that's all done, we can surf over to Moss Deep City for the Super Rod to finally be able to fish for a core fish on Route 102 and Seeking back in the Safari Zone, and then head into the Moss Deep City gym rather underleveled. The gym leaders only use 2 Rock-type Pokemon, so I just spam Surf with Milotic and Gyarados to get the 7th gym badge already. This game is a lot easier than I remember. Like, who cares if you're underleveled? Just click the strong move a bunch of times and use some potions maybe, and you'll probably win. After that, we have some even more lore stuff, and I noticed that some routes in French are just called routes, while others are called canals or canals maybe. Like, what's the difference? I'm not sure, but I taught Dive to Gyarados to progress through the game, and if you're wondering why I didn't teach it to any other Pokemon, that's because it's impossible. Like seriously, look at the touchscreen, it's impossible. I don't know why this made me laugh, but if you tried to teach a TM or HM to a Pokemon, it just says possible or impossible in French. In the Seafloor Cavern, though, we actually have quite a few 100% encounters. One is Graveler, so I skip it because you already have Golem, and the other 2 are Zubat or Golbat depending on which room you're in through Horde encounters. I don't have Gloom in my party, and I honestly don't really want a Nosferatu or whatever Zubat is in French, so I just focus on fighting Archie in this weird water vortex. Like, what is this supposed to be? Like, where are we? With Team Aqua out of the way for now, we can go over to Sootopolis City. Surfing here has a 100% chance to get a Magikarp if you didn't know, but we already got one much earlier on. In Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, and Emerald for that matter, you get some iconic cutscene with a fight with Groudon and Kyogre, then in Emerald, Rayquaza comes to break up the fight, but you just don't have that in Mega Ray and Alpha Sapphire, so I guess I'll just recreate it with some plushes that I have.
Groudon's like, this is my land, I want it, and then Kyogre's like, no, it's water, it's mine, we're gonna take over and flood the world. And then I don't have a Rayquaza plush, so we'll just use this Bullet Bill plush, and Rayquaza's like, no, my children, stop it, let there be peace. And then everything's okay.
And just like that, we knock out Kyogre because, well, we have enough water-type Pokemon and you're not a 100% encounter rate Pokemon. And then we fight Wallace, aka Mark. He might be like the worst 8th gym leader ever, so with all 8 gym badges in our badge case, we can get our next 100% encounter Pokemon, finally, in Wailmer. I waited so long to get you, I thought I'd be able to get you early on, but we don't get you until after the 8th gym. I added the team over Gyarados and level it up to evolve into Wailord since we don't really need 3 water types as that's just too much water. I then regrouped to prepare for the Elite Four. I traded my team over to my copy of Pokemon X to grind them up totally 100% legitimately and then trade them back, get the Alterianite for our new Altaria, and then head right into the Elite Four. For Sydney, we lay waste to his team with Mega Altaria going for Fairy-type moves. For Phoebe, we can use Crunch from our X-Bot on our Ghost-type Pokemon, then Honor Battle both of her Bannettes with our Banette and win. On Glacia, okay, Glacia was actually kind of annoying, but we used the whole team to push through here. Then we have Drake, which can't touch Mega Altaria, getting us through to the champion. Steven, or rather Pierre, leads with Skarmory, so we take it out with Milotic, and most of his Pokemon were pretty easy to take out except for his ace, Mega Metagross. Luckily for us, we have access to something that Pierre doesn't have. The ability to use more than 2 healing items in a battle and just stall him out for the win as he just starts going for Giga Impacts for some reason. I wanted to get the win with X-Cloud, which was basically our starter Pokemon, but X-Cloud fell, so I sent out my Milotic to finish off Steven, or Pierre rather, making us the champion with our common team of 100% encounter rate Pokemon. There's a few different ways to interpret what makes a Pokemon common or makes a Pokemon rare, and while sheer encounter rate doesn't tell the whole story, I think it's pretty neat that so many Pokemon can be encountered with a 100% encounter rate in certain situations. So that'll be it for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and pretty soon I'll be beating Pokemon Heart Gold with these things.